You need to see this. This was not a mere wrestling match, it was an annihilation dressed as a wrestling contest, a collision that left the very idea of momentum broken on the canvas. If you think Seth Rollins winning the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 35 was inevitable, you need to watch the replays, because Brock Lesnar made every single person who cheered that night pay for their optimism with blood, bone-shaking suplexes, and absolute domination. And yet, somehow, Rollins crawled back from the abyss. Who was robbed, who was righteous? Comment now. Did Brock Lesnar get screwed out of a fair fight, or did Seth Rollins earn every second of that miraculous victory? Right from the opening bell you could smell the contempt in the air, not just the physical heat of sweat and breath, but the bitter taste of unfinished business. This wasn't a story of two men meeting in the ring, it was a crusade for validation. Lesnar entered as the apex predator, part carnival of destruction, part athletic marvel roaring to the cadence of inevitability, I will break you. Seth Rollins arrived as the architect of desperation, the man who'd clawed and grinded his way back from injuries, moral ambiguity, and reinvented showmanship, looking to steal back the crowning jewel of the company. You can still hear the crowd's war between jeers and cheers. Which side were you on? Drop a comment. Were you Team Brock or Team Seth? At the start, the first minute is almost textbook brutality. Lesnar's psychological warfare begins as soon as he plants his feet. No theatrics, no wasted flourish, just surgical violence. He tests Rollins with those deafening German suplexes, and what makes them worse is the way Lesnar doesn't just throw him, he systematically unseats him from reality. 4, 5, 6 suplexes build a physical and metaphysical evidence of dominance. This is Lesnar's message: he doesn't just beat you, he validates the notion that the ring is his habitat. But let's be honest, how many of you felt your stomach drop the first time Lesnar landed that third or fourth suplex? Type sucked in the comments if that moment shook you. Rollins isn't a man who submits quietly to inevitability. He responds with urgency, flying through the air, using his speed and cunning as a corrective to Lesnar's raw force. This contrast is the beating heart of the match. You've got Lesnar, the human bulldozer, and you've got Rollins, the kinetic architect who relies on timing, momentum, and moments of risk that either win championships or end careers. The way Seth dances away from the F5, the way he ducks and counters, it almost feels like poetry until Lesnar snatches that poetry by the throat and rips it into prose. Pay attention to the ring psychology. Lesnar doesn't just suplex Rollins to hurt him physically, he punctures the audience's expectation that the match will be a grand, back-and-forth drama. Instead, he tries to suffocate that drama entirely. That's why every time Rollins picks up a head of steam, Lesnar responds not merely to stop him but to annihilate the concept of his comeback. You could argue that's what makes Lesnar such a polarizing figure. Quick question for you: which single suplex in this match do you think was the most devastating? The first, the fourth, or the one that came mid-match? Vote in the comments. 1, 4, or M. There's a point in the match where adrenaline and despair start to tango. Rollins pulls out every trick, Judas effect, Falcon arrow out of nowhere, springboard maneuvers that make your heart leap. For a moment and only a moment the crowd tastes hope. They start chanting, throats roar, willing a miracle. But Lesnar's counters are brutal and immediate. He snaps Rollins with a belly-to-belly that doesn't just move him, it recalibrates the tempo of the entire arena. You feel like you've been slapped out of euphoria. This is one of those matches where the crowd becomes a living, audible character. The noise is an emotional meter that swings between despair and exultation in real time. Were you screaming along? Tell me what chant you remember loudest. And then there's that one surge when Rollins lands the stomp. The arena erupts. You can physically see the momentum slip, like a tide making a sudden and questionable decision to change direction. Rollins crawls into position, covers, but Lesnar powers out. Not because of some miraculous burst of energy, but because Lesnar is simply built that way. He is an engine designed to grind and refuse defeat. That near fall is the first of many psychological knives in the back. It tells us that in his world, being pinned is only an opinion Lesnar refuses to subscribe to. Let's talk about focus. Lesnar's wrestling is not pretty, it's terrifyingly efficient. He recognizes where to apply damage to stop Seth's aerial offense: the knees, the legs, the core. After those early suplexes, he doesn't let Rollins run unchanged. He systematically breaks down the support structures Seth needs, the base from which those high-risk maneuvers are launched. It's equal parts strategy and cruelty. Fans often say, you can't teach fear. Lesnar proves you can manufacture it. Comment below, did Lesnar's targeting of Seth's legs change how you viewed the match as it progressed? Yes or no? And then there's that sequence, the one that still makes fans debate refereeing and physics. Lesnar sets up for the F5, but Rollins wriggles free and, in the blink of an eye, counters with a stomp on an appraised knee. It's chaotic, cinematic, and it collapses the distinction between chance and intention. In those seconds you feel the entire arc of WrestleMania condensed, careers, reputations, the roar of millions compressed into one impact. Lesnar not only sells it, for a moment, is human. He stumbles, flails, and the crowd roars like it's 1999 again. If you were watching live, where were you when Rollins landed that stomp? Living room, bar, friend's house. Drop a quick L for living room, B for bar, F for friend. But don't mistake the stomp as some miracle cure-all. Lesnar's response is clinical. He absorbs the strike and pivots into a renewed assault, including an F5 that if it had landed clean would have ended the match. Did it? No, and that's precisely what keeps you on the edge. Rollins sells with everything he has. He rides, he crawls, he finds the seam to our collective hope and threads himself back into the possibility of victory. This match is peppered with those iconic moments that double as psychological tests. Remember the scene where Rollins looks like finally he's got Brock? The crowd roars and then the ref counts a near fall. There's palpable disbelief, not only from the crowd but from the wrestlers themselves. That fleeting belief is rolled back each time Lesnar refuses to remain down. It's maddening in the best possible way. This predatory refusal builds tension, it generates anger, righteous, communal anger that compels people to comment, to tweet, to share. I want to see your angriest emoji for that feeling. Post your best one in the comments. By the midpoint, both men have transformed into mythic versions of themselves. Lesnar, the unrepentant machine; Rollins, the man-stretched wire of heart and resilience. The match's psychology now becomes a study of momentum, how it builds, how it collapses, how a single misstep can swing the entire house. Pay attention to the timing. How long does Rollins have control before Lesnar takes it back? Those flips and near falls are measured in seconds, but their emotional weight is monumental. The crowd's involvement can't be overstated. The chants, the roars, the collective gasp, they operate like an extra character in the match. When Rollins teeters on the brink, the arena is a living pulse. But there's also a palpable anger in the crowd. Many feel the injustice of a champion who looks worn but unbeaten. Others feel the fury of the anti-hero that is also crushing someone they once cheered. That tension is the fuel for speculation and debate long after the night ends. Which fan reaction sticks with you most? Type angry if you were wound up, excited if you were loving every second. And then the endgame, the final 10 minutes, is an absolute masterclass in chaos and timing. The sequences accelerate like a runaway engine. Rollins finds another gear. He hits one of the most improbable combinations in recent WrestleMania memory, a flurry that includes a buckle bump, springboard, and a stunning stomp. The crowd is a chorus of disbelief and hope. You feel the hairs on your arms lift. Rollins covers. The referee counts 1, 2, 3. The sound is a detonator in the arena. Seth Rollins is the new Universal Champion. The eruption is seismic. But here's where the anger and debate explode. Lesnar's aura of dominance had not faded. Many insist he was robbed by fate, by an unsatisfactory logic. Others insist that Rollins seized his destiny through grit and will. Where do you stand? Shout it in the comments. Brock robbed, or Seth earned it? But let's take a forensic look at that finish. Yes, Rollins executed the stomp at exactly the right time. Yes, the cover was textbook, but context matters. Lesnar had been in control of the majority of the match. His combination of strength moves and suplex dumps had left Seth so compromised that every time Rollins rose it felt like rolling a boulder uphill. That's the tragedy and the beauty of Rollins' victory. He wasn't supposed to do it. And when the underdog or the resilient antagonist, depending on your read, beats the annihilator, the result is catharsis. This contradiction is what fuels heated debates. Be honest, did you cheer for the underdog, or did you feel cheated? For Lesnar, there's an emotional aftershock to this match that lasts longer than the replay. WrestleMania is about spectacle, but it's also about moments that rewrite lines in careers. For Seth Rollins, this win was a career punctuation mark, proof that reinvention, persistence, and the willingness to take insane risks can topple even the most dominant of foes. For Brock Lesnar, this match reinforced his identity as the man who doesn't always get the script he wants but who makes every match feel like an event. He walked out with respect, not necessarily the title, and that's an important nuance. Drop a comment. Do you feel Lesnar's legacy was harmed or enhanced by this loss? I want to break down one last critical moment: the referee's count, the way Lesnar sells the stomp, and the crowd reaction in sync. WrestleMania is a theater of emotions, and that count is the final beat. Some will nitpick the physics or the logic, others will say it's the perfect blend of wrestling storytelling and athletic performance. The truth is somewhere in between. You get a finish that serves narrative more than pure logic, and in pro wrestling, narrative is the lifeblood. Tell me your take. Is wrestling storytelling more important than realism? Type story or real below. Before we wrap up, a few quick observations that separate this match from countless others. Lesnar's suplex sequence early on established pure dominance. Few matches start with that level of sustained brutality. Rollins' aerial counters were a masterclass in timing. He made the high-risk stuff look simultaneously desperate and inevitable. The psychology of damage control on Seth's legs was smart booking and perfect in execution. It explained why his aerials were less reliable mid-match. The crowd's emotional swing from despair to hope to euphoric climax was textbook WrestleMania drama. Here are some final questions I want you to answer in the comments. Short, fiery, and guaranteed to start debates. 1. Who walked out of WrestleMania 35 the bigger winner, Seth Rollins with the title, or Brock Lesnar with his aura? 1 word, Seth or Brock. 2. Which move in the match made you jump the most? Type the move name. 3. Did the finish make you happy or furious? Happy or furious? For if you could change one moment in the match, what would it be? 1 sentence only. This match is more than a highlight reel. It's a study in power, momentum, and the stubborn human will. It's the kind of WrestleMania moment people argue about for years because it answers no single simple question. Did the stronger man lose, or did the smarter man win? That's what keeps fans coming back, those impossibly split-second decisions that rewrite allegiances and force you to pick sides. So here's what I want from you: rewatch the match if you have to. Drop your answers to the 4 quick questions. Share this video with someone who was Team Brock, and tag a friend who called the outcome months before Middle-earth's favorite suplex artist stepped into the ring. Hit the comments hard. Tell me the moment that made you the angriest, the happiest, or the most stunned. The debate doesn't end here, it escalates. This was one of those Mania matches where the final bell didn't just end the bout, it rewired the conversation of pro wrestling 4 years after. Seth's victory is a testament to resilience. Brock's performance is a reminder why he's called the Beast Incarnate. Which side changed your mind about either performer? Say it below honestly and loud. Alright, Wrestling Zone 1, you know what to do. Leave your verdicts, your emoji reactions, the one wrestler you'd like to see collide with either Brock or Seth next, and who you think truly had the better WrestleMania night. And if you haven't already, tell us where you watched the match, room, bar, or arena, because those stories matter just as much as the moves. I'll be reading every comment and picking the best takes to feature in our next breakdown video, where we analyze 3 other WrestleMania classics, and yes, we'll be debating this matchup again. Now go, argue, celebrate, rage, rewatch, and most importantly, tell us, did WrestleMania 35 give you justice, or did it leave you holding a grudge?